response. Maybe to the God of and blessed name. Amen.
Mr. Speaker, the time is past 10. I hereby move the SFIB suspended. So start the business of this house. Thank you.
Any second to that motion?
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The record of note and proceedings for the 19th, 23rd, 25th, 26th, 27th, and the 30th of May 2022 respectively.
Honourable members, we shall now consider our votes and proceedings. You will recall that for technical reasons we were not able to consider the votes and proceedings of the dates in question, so we shall do so now. We started with Thursday, the 19th of May. And as is page 6. Page 7. Page 8.
Public lecture at Milton Margai Technical University on
The next votes and proceedings is Monday, the 23rd May. Starting from page 5. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Can someone please move?
I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The record of votes and proceedings for Monday, 23rd May 2022 has been adopted.
May I call for the undivided attention of all members? Votes and proceedings of Wednesday, the 25th of May. Starting from page 5. Page 6. Can someone please move? Any seconder?
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The record of votes and proceedings for Wednesday, 25th May 2022 has been adopted.
Move on to 26th May. Again, starting from page 5. Page 6. Page 7. And page 8. Thank you. Can someone please move?
I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Any second?
I so second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
The record of votes and proceedings for Thursday, 26th May 2022 has been adopted.
The 27th of May. Page 5, any comments, any amendments? Page 6. Will someone please move? Thank you. Any second?
I so second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
For Friday, 27th May 2022 has been adopted.
And the last one, the votes and proceedings for Monday the 30th. starting from page 5. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Thank you. Can someone please move?
I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder?
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
The record of votes and proceedings for Monday, the pattern of meetings 22 has been adopted. Announcements from Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, my first announcement is to extend my heartfelt thanks to all of you for your participation at the just concluded conference of the African region of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, held here in Freetown, from the 3rd to the 9th month. The delegates to whom we played host were fulsome in their praises and appreciation for the hospitality of our country and also of our parliamentary staff who acted as protocol officers to the delegations that came. We had only 2 casualties. 2 people fell ill, one from Nigeria and one from South Africa. They were hospitalized at the Twetram Memorial Hospital for some days. Mercifully, they recovered sufficiently for them to be able to be taken back to their countries. Nigeria sent an air ambulance to collect the Nigerians.
Mr. Speaker, can you say that again? Can you repeat that?
I said it was, it's enough. The good news is that they all landed safely in their respective countries, and they are all full of high praises for the reception, the hospitality, and indeed, the content of the conference that was held here. I feel elated and I feel proud on behalf of this Parliament and on behalf of all of you. Once again, I thank you. My second announcement relates to the misbehavior and misconduct of the Honorable Lahai Mara, in this world, and I hereby give notice of my intention to take appropriate action to deal with that matter under the relevant sections of the Constitution and the standing orders. I think it's about time I set an example to deal with misconduct in this House, which cannot be tolerated any longer. I hereby give notice now that I intend to pursue that matter to its logical conclusion. I thank you all.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Yes. So I think you resume your seat, sir. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, some grave concern and the people's representative of this House voted together with His Excellency the President, same time to serve the people 5 years. We have right to our constitutional rights as enshrined in the Constitution, also in the standing orders. And we have responsibility to uphold the Constitution also, because we are lawmakers. And if we uphold the Constitution, we should guide our rights, Mr. Speaker. We, as people's representatives, we have had a lot of bashing from the public about the private member from us every other way. They come here, we are contractors. We are religious people for naming, blasting us unjustifiably, as if we don't have right to what you are doing. The first law of nature itself, but there are principles and procedures in carrying out that first law of nature. We cannot bastardize the Constitution of people's representatives, but we can also pursue our rights enshrined in the Constitution. But Mr. Speaker, I don't want to go too far. I want to use this platform today to educate our masses, the people represent, and the people who come here to harass us for so many things, and yet they want to change our status. They are outside, they are talking against us. Though what I see on the social media is not before Parliament, I saw it on the social media. But I am concerned about the innuendos and the aspersions. But even at that, let me take this opportunity to educate the public. By law, let me read Section 74, Section 4 of the Constitution, Act number 6 of 1991. I will take my time to read and read it carefully, so the public, when bashing members of Parliament, you call us honorable members, we cannot go after you, but judge us rightly. Because we are also human beings. There are people who are serving different capacities in this country and beyond this country. For once, we know we are representing you, but have some respect for us. Have some respect for us. Page 64. Members of Parliament shall, this is a mandatory clause, shall be entitled to such salaries, allowances, gratuities. A fundamental right in the standing orders. So it is not before us. I read the first paragraph. I will not bother you to read the rest. SO 61. Bill affecting private bill. Prior to that. Bill affecting private rights. SO 61 members. If it appears to Mr. Speaker, from the notice of the terms proposed to be embodied in a bill that the proposals are intended to affect or benefit some particular person, association, or corporate body, then A as follows. Before allowing such a bill to be read for the first time, Mr. Speaker shall satisfy himself that due notice has been given by publication of the bill in an issue of the Gazette and by insertion in 2 subsequent weekly issues of the Gazette, of the notice of the bill having been so published, and of the issues of the Gazette in which it was published. Mr. Speaker shall also satisfy himself that additional notice of the bill has been given by the advertising a statement of its general nature and object in the Gazette and in at least one newspaper circulating in Sierra Leone 1 month at least before application is made to the House for leave to introduce the bill. Mr. Speaker, I have read that provision so that the members can understand. We are not working as if we are not representing or protecting the Constitution and the instruments we have. We have our responsibility as members of Parliament. Anything they just see on the social media concerning Parliament, they don't come and ask. We have made Parliament open. We have had an MOU between us and civil society to clarify some of these issues. But they saw the welfare coming from members and introducing them, Mr. Speaker. They did not ask us. They did not ask for the procedures. And they're on the social media because we have all of us who are journalists now blasting Parliament, blasting all of us. In fact, they said on one publication I saw, state conspiracy. State conspiracy. They didn't even ask for SO61. They didn't even look at 74.4. They started blasting us. Mr. Speaker, this is the time we need to educate the public. It should not be any secret if we want to take care of our welfare. We will come here and present a bill if we want to do so. It's not rocket science. It's a reality we are facing in this world. And when we go to our constituencies, that we are under tremendous pressure to do certain things that is beyond our limit. We have inelastic demands and supply.
Exactly.
We have inelastic demands. They ask for so many things that you cannot do without having finances. When you go to your constituency, they will come to tell you to construct barriers, to construct bridges, to take care of the sick, to take care of them in ceremony, to do funerals. Who will be telling you don't do it? It's a problem. Mr. Speaker, we are not representatives. We are real representatives. We have enacted serious laws in this chamber. Repeal. There are also death penalties. Talking about anti-human trafficking, etc., etc. So we are a responsible house. We have done MOU between Parliament and civil society. This is a transparent Parliament. We don't expect somebody to people, our representatives. How the people represent here, just see something on the social media. They don't come to Parliament to rectify or to get clarifications. What they always do is to go on the social media and try to lampoon us, say so many things against us. So we have started setting the record straight. But let me also inform the public that when we want to take care of our welfare, it's not going to be secret. We will table it, having gone through all the procedures. And we will make international concerns. We will debate it in the interest of the state. That is why we are looking at the way bill carefully. We will discuss the way bills. And we will make sure that there is complete harmonization of the way bill. So, people think we are doing hide and seek. They are saying there is a leaked document. It's not before us. If it comes before us using the appropriate procedure, we will table it and debate it. This is a transparent house. We are lawmakers that enshrine the Constitution. We are not ashamed to fight for our rights. This is a time we need to emancipate ourselves from slavery. We have suffered too long. For us, they want us to represent ourselves as if we are fake. We are not fake representatives. We are real representatives of the people. What is affecting us affects our people. If we don't take care of welfare, how do we take care of our people? I want to say thanks to His Excellency the President for giving us the platform, for looking at us. He came here to discuss our welfare. He came here, he discussed our welfare with us. And when we are ready for that time to discuss our welfare, Mr. Speaker, we will take a bill to him and discuss with him. And we open this chamber, we invite the public, and we come and see how we debate. We will debate and talk about our welfare. And we tell them how we are under tremendous pressure from our people harassing us. They don't know our job description. The same people go after us. The same people sit in the corner, bash us, lampoon us, a lot of negatives against us. We are tired with the aspersion and innuendos. I think this is the time for us to speak out. This is the time for us to speak out. If you refuse to consult CREIT, even though it is not your part of the job description, if you refuse to take care of the sick, if you refuse to do naming ceremony, you are out of Parliament the next election. Mr. Speaker, you know, the righteous, it's only the righteous that supposed to do. When you are righteous, you do things that is beyond your possibility. Because you want to be good, you want to be righteous for people. That's why we are taking all of these things. But we cannot say, with what is enshrined in the Constitution, what we have in the Constitution, they cannot allow us to use it. As soon as people start making a move, that's the time they come in to say all the negative things. They are saying we go so much for research. Research on what? There's only one research. In July we are going for research. We take adjournment, but we say it's only once in every session. They don't even know. They do over the media, say all negative things about us. We are representing you. We cannot change you because we need your vote. But we can correct the mistakes of the past and present our own view. Oh yes, there is no way we can pass for a secret. And let me assure you again, Mr. Speaker, I will put it on the other paper. We will give long publication. And we allow them, we take them to committee room number 1, we go to the chamber and debate it. And let them tell us if we don't have right to better facility or better welfare. Let them tell us if we don't have right to our own constitutional right given to us. Let them tell us if they are not demanding from us unjustly. Mr. Speaker, as I speak, I'm not making a case because it's not in front of us, but I'm tired with the negativities at this house. I'm tired with it. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, members sitting here, you cannot give your bank statement, but over 70% are in red in the bank. We are in red. We are in red. You know what? 90%. Thank you very much. That is means their bank statement is negative. They have loans, they have overdrafts. This is the situation we are facing. I said, President Mio came here. We went to committee room number 1, and we explained to him, and he said, I will try my best. The conditions are appalling, but we have to look at the finances. We are very mindful that we are faced with serious economic crisis all over the world. We are very mindful of that. That's why we are not in a worry to use 74.4. If we want to use it, we discuss with the president, authorities in charge. Because we have provisions, we cannot misuse it. No, we can't do things like that. We are very responsible people in this country. We represent people, and they voted for us to serve them 5 years. People describing us as if we are not responsible. Some of us who have served in so many places, write negative things about us because we are representatives. Those days are gone, you describe politicians as reckless. We are not reckless, we are very responsible. We are very responsible. That is the reason we live in this house. We are the ones to call a bipartisan approach. In the United States, people are very difficult to do bipartisan approach. This house is a hung parliament. This is a hung parliament. Conglomerate of representations. Difficult to pass this, but we have passed difficult legislation, which other parliaments have never done before. Praise us for what you have done. Talk about the good things. You criticize, but God, that's why I always said, God is with us. God is our strength, our Savior. You come here, you harass us to give your money, you ask for huge amount of demand, inelastic demand, you don't have the finance to support them, but we go all out to do it. The Lord will judge us. The Lord is our fighter, is our strength, will judge us. But those who go outside here, they come there to beg us, they go to our place, chase us, criticize us unjustly. God will judge them too. At any time, they expect them here. They present the story as if we are presenting a hidden document. Not hidden. We have sat down quietly and looked at some of these things because we want the necessary provisions are followed. In the Constitution and the standing order, Mr. Speaker, I have read the provisions. So today, if you want to learn, the Parliament is not a dark environment. It's as open as any other institution. We can do the edification for the public if we want to. But we cannot allow you to negatively blast at us as if we are not human beings. We are human beings and responsible. Some of us have served other institutions, reputable people standing. So, Mr. Speaker, I think I've made my point. So if there is anything outside here, don't don't misuse the social media platform. Parliament is the house of the people. Parliament, we are here, we represent the people. We don't run away because of what they are asking us. But we stand tall to defend the right things that we think we can do. Defend to make sure Parliament is the right place to be, and Parliament is the nerve of our democracy. We will continue to uphold the tenets and the values of democracy. And Parliament is the nerve of democracy. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless us.
I thank the leader of government business for that statement. I think it's very clear that what the leader of government business has just stated resonates across the aisle. If I'm right in so thinking, I will now give the floor to the acting leader of the opposition.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. There is not much to say again after the performance of the leader of the House. And all we know is that we are not going to apologize to anybody. I was asked a question saying whether Mr. Speaker got clearance from the President to improve our welfare. And my response was very brief. My response was very brief. That the speaker we have is an intelligent speaker who would not come to this house and introduce a concept without the clearance of His Excellency the President. So in other words, the President knows about what we are doing. And let us don't forget that at one time when the President arrived here to address us, he also mentioned the need to improve our welfare. What I did do, Mr. Speaker, was to listen to the social media for the whole of the weekend. And I heard the bashing, the negative things about MPs, and even my leader here, Mr. Barr, was taken to task extensively. Why? Because he and the leader donated a portrait to Mr. President. It was an offense, a crime. I don't think that we should degenerate to that point. All I know is that the leader and the deputy leader have served this parliament very, very well. And because of that, we've got to respect them. They are our leaders. For somebody to go to social media and begin to insult people for performing a duty which is naturally their duty is most unacceptable. So, Mr. Speaker, our position on this side is very, very clear. That we support the move to improve the welfare of our people. And Mr. Leader has already made a point that the pressure under which we find ourselves is immense. Too many people come to us making requests, asking questions, sometimes impossible requests. So what we intend to do, Mr. Speaker, is to make sure that we become part and parcel of this whole process, to make sure that we improve on the welfare of our citizens. But more importantly, our members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, you remember fully well, when I was the Secretary General of the Parliamentary Translation, when both of us were in this Parliament, every 2 months, we all would go to the speaker, to the President, and discuss the welfare of the MPs And the president will always say, do something to improve the welfare of your own people. This is what we ought to do. Improve our own welfare and improve the welfare of our own people. We are not going to allow any set of people to blackmail us. Because what I have read in the social media tantamount to blackmail. My cousin said, perhaps. My other cousin said, jealousy. But the fact of the matter is that it's totally unacceptable, Mr. Speaker. And like I said in my introductory remarks, we are not going to apologize to anybody for fighting to improve our own welfare. Thank you very much.
I thank the acting leader of the opposition. Let me see if any other leader wants to take the floor before I make my own comment. It was not actually only recognize leaders. The Honorable Kande Yumkela. Let me say this before you say anything. This is not an attempt to ambush you in any way. Let it be understood by all and some that you've been away uncompassionate for compassionate reasons. And I'm sure the entire House joins me in wishing your other half the best of health. May God continue to keep her. You were away when this explosion took place in the social media. But I just thought it would be fitting if the sentiments expressed on behalf of the House by the leader of government business resonates or seems to resonate across the aisle. This is the only reason why I thought it fit to call upon the leader of your opposition, and if you so wish, to call upon your good self as well, to make a comment or two.
Honorable Speaker, dear colleagues, I just returned last night, as you said, being away on compassionate leave in a very difficult circumstance. Let me say that I stand behind what the leader of government business has said. The leader of government business has eloquently presented the legal and constitutional position of parliamentarians. It is important for that to be understood. He is giving full assurance to the public, as has been done with every legislation in this House, that there will be an open discussion of it. Sometimes in leadership, controversies are good. Controversies are good. Some of us volunteered knowingly to come to Parliament. I'm one of those. I ran for president in this country, and I chose to run for Parliament. And I have told people the reason is I fully recognize how important Parliament is. I fully recognize why that role has to be supported, why it has to be incentivized, so you get the right caliber of people to serve the people. This is an important part. I have met with some who wrote that constitution, and with them sat down even before I started Parliament to understand the powers they put in this house. The right people in the right place is necessary. So, Honorable Leader of Government Business, I'm fully behind your statement. We look forward to that discussion. And again, I repeat, the controversy is good. Don't run away from the controversy. Help the people understand what the Constitution says and why harmonization of wages and salaries is crucial in this country. If you want the right people, you have to have the right incentives. Thank you very much.
I thank the Honorable Member for his statement. Let me I notice the leader of C4C is not here, but there is an acting leader.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I think what the leader of government business said and your opposition leaders, it has made my day. To be frank with you, Mr. Leader, emotionally, as I stand here, most of us are in debt. All of us. Bad debt. Domestic debt. Some of us are even blacklisting some people for them not to call us. This is serious. It's not a laughing matter. Sometimes some honorable members, they will leave their vehicle down at Model Junction because they don't have money to buy fuel. But people will not understand all of this. You know, normally our people in the community, when they talk about politicians, they will always point at honorable members to be the politicians. When in fact, even those that are educated, they don't even want to know if our roles and responsibilities are with the community or with our own, or to make laws. They don't want to know. All they will say, what has this honorable member done? So in fact, they are forcing us to do things in our community that we are not responsible for. Yes. Mm-hmm. We approve monies in this parliament, in budgets, for the councils, but we end up doing the works of the councils now. They will compare us, they will go to social media. You know, one thing I'm really surprised at, I don't know, our laws we pass in this parliament, they don't normally buy. We recently passed the cyber bill here. And if you look in social media and see what is happening, the law has not bite anybody. People are castigating people. People are doing things out of the way, especially for honorable members. And I want to tell my colleagues here that 2023 is really going to be a little bit difficult because of this social media thing. Mm-hmm. A lot of things are happening in social media. And some people will not ask. Some people are very good in forwarding bad news. Mm-hmm. Some people will not inquire. So as a C4C, and as members of parliament, representing our people, especially in Kono, I want to say on behalf of the others who are not here, and my honorable members seated here, we support whatever the leader of government business, the leader of opposition, the leader of NGC have said. We stand by it, and we will go with it any length and breadth they want us to go. Thank you very much.
Speaker. Speaker, adopt the position of the leaders of this house. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you my story. During the last term, this same issue came up about the increase in the salaries and other entitlements of members of parliament. And this fellow was so active over the social media, criticizing. He said, in fact, members of parliament do not even deserve what they wanted at the time. Interestingly, I went to my constituency, and this same fellow showed up. He was asking for my assistance to pay his fees. He was in college at the time. I reminded him. These are the kind of things, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. The very people that will be out there criticizing will be the very ones that will be all over the place harassing members of parliament. And interestingly also, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, interestingly also, some of our brothers and sisters that are all over the place criticizing members of parliament are receiving 45 million, 65 million as nobody's harassing them. They collect their 65 million or 45 million or 50 million, and they take their monies to their homes. Such salaries are meant for these people and their families only. But when a member of parliament receives a dime, that money is shared in the entire constituency. Even when we try, Mr. Speaker, to explain to our people that it is not the duty of a member of parliament to build court barracks, to do water wells, to build schools. Because of the literacy level, Mr. Speaker, the literacy level of this country, our people deliberately fail to understand. We do everything. We pay school fees, college fees. We do everything. We give medical fees. Everything, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members, I strongly believe, Mr. Speaker, that this kind of situation, matters relating to members of parliament, should be subjected to a national conversation. Matters relating to the welfare of members of parliament should be subjected to a national conversation. Mr. Speaker, this is a sorry state for members of parliament. And if you refuse to subject yourself to the demands of your constituents, you are removed. That is why the attrition rate of members of parliament is so high. Somebody said so. I heard somebody doing an undertone. Members of parliament are the most highly indebted people in Sierra Leone. Members of parliament are the highest indebted people in Sierra Leone. But this nation is refusing to accept that fact. We have not gone all out to explain to our people the roles or the duties of members of parliament. But the moment anything is mentioned about members of parliament, the whole nation rises against us. If the CSOs are true to themselves, there should be the very institutions supporting members of parliament, or considering the affairs of members of parliament with sympathy. But of course, our brothers in the CSOs who are expected to understand some of these situations
are normally at the forefront, criticizing members of parliament. There are so many things they know. Some of them have gone to our constituencies, they have done researches, and they know the kind of pressure members are going through. But they deliberately fail to understand. I would have been extremely comfortable with my salary if I had no reason to share that with my constituents. If my only duty is to come here and make the laws and policies of the state. If nobody expected me to do things outside my normal duties, I would have been extremely comfortable. But Mr. Speaker, let me state with authority that I have not used a dime of my salary the whole of this year. I have not used a dime. I give post-dated checks. I give post-dated checks to my constituents. I give post-dated checks to my constituents. I don't even care. Mr. Speaker, this is a sorry state. We should subject a matter like this to a national conversation. This is serious. Otherwise, this thing is going to go on and on and on and on. We are being harassed, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. The public should know this, that we are being harassed. Members of parliament are being harassed all over the place. If you go to my office now, you see so many people there. They are here for arms, for handouts. This is what our people should know. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I thank all honorable members who have taken the floor on this very important issue. And let me take the opportunity to say this. I do not believe for once that the majority of the people of this country are against members of parliament taking care of their welfare. But there is a...
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I don't want to go to that again because so much has been said about the welfare of members of parliament. But what I want to also bring out here is members of the civil sector organizations and other institutions who go to the radio station, the television station, and refer to members of parliament as the so-called members of parliament. You have no so-called members of parliament. Every member of parliament in this house and coming to this house. Let them refer to us with some amount of flexibility. If not for myself, but for the institution that I represent. And because people elected me to come to this house, or elected every other member here to come to this house, don't refer to them as the so-called members of parliament. We are members of parliament for God's sake. You cannot call a minister the so-called minister. Because they are appointed by the executive arm to serve in the executive arm of government. But when it comes to members of parliament, the so-called members of parliament, Mr. Speaker, all of those individuals must stop because they must respect us as lawmakers. For all the laws that are being passed in this country come from this wealth. For all the money that are being distributed to MPAs come from this wealth. People must respect the vote today. People look at it as a very insignificant role. But that's because we have the boss. The boss, the boss. It is because we know as members of parliament we want to build social relations with institutions, with friends. That is why sometimes we flex a little bit to accommodate other people from the executive arm, from the judiciary. But if we want to use the power that we have, we will not be friends. But because we know that that is all part of the politicking that we are all involved in, that's why sometimes we allow, accommodate. It's a give and take situation. But let people don't take us for granted and refer to us so-called members of parliament. We are members of parliament. Let that stop.
Actually, I was in mid-flight when the honorable member interrupted. But he is forgiven because of the nature of the subject in question. Let me go back to say what I started with. I do not believe for once that the entire country is against Parliament looking after its welfare. It's just that, like any other society, you have a small minority, a vociferous minority, that would want to arrogate to themselves the power to speak for the rest. And on this particular issue, it is my fervent hope that what we've seen and heard on the social media is coming from only a tiny fraction of the population, and that the majority of our people do understand the plight of being a member of Parliament. I was once where you are, and I can understand the plight that you face in your daily lives. That is one point. The second point I want to emphasize is that we sometimes talk as if Sierra Leone is the poorest of the poor. Sierra Leone is not. Sierra Leone is poor, but certainly not the poorest of the poor. And it will suffice for us to make just a few comparisons. What is contained in the constitutional provision read out by the Leader of Government Business, Section 74.4, is not new. Other jurisdictions have it. It is in the Constitution of Uganda, giving Parliament the authority to determine their emoluments, their salaries, their allowances, conditions of service, etc., etc. And they've done it. They've exercised the power given to them. You go to Kenya, they've also done the same. Come nearer home, Ghana. Our nearest home, Liberia. They've all utilized the provisions given to them, to their parliaments, by the Constitution. So really it's sometimes difficult to understand why people go overboard when parliamentarians in Sierra Leone try to exercise the authority given to them by the highest law of the land, the Constitution. As a matter of fact, let it be noted that we are very far from fully utilizing the power given to this Parliament by Section 74.4. Instead, our approach has been incremental, little by little, little by little. And because of that, we've lost no fewer than 6 of our members in this House. Through death, preventable death, for that matter. Is there any harm, therefore, for those who are still living to ask for their medical bills to be taken care of? But as has been said, there is no attempt to do things stealthily. This is a transparent House. We respect the rules, the principle of transparency. When the time comes, the public will know precisely what is contained in the welfare bill that Parliament will pass. It will not be done under the carpet, it will not be done in darkness, it will be done in the open in a very transparent fashion. So I appeal to all of us to hold our peace, as I do appeal to the outside world to also hold their peace. At the appropriate time, they will know what Parliament intends to do to take care of their welfare. After all, there is an old adage, charity begins at home, although it does not end there. With that said, we can put that matter to rest for now and proceed with the day's business. But I thank you for bringing this important matter to the well of the House and to discuss it the way you've done. I do hope that those of them who will be canvassing negative and giving negative insinuations about members of Parliament will learn from what has been said this morning. And they are free, they are totally at liberty to make comparisons with other African countries, and they will discover that even those countries with which we share a belonging in category of poor have done a great deal more for their MPs than we have attempted to do so far. And yet we are not the poorest of the poor. So let us proceed with the day's business, with the assurance that when, at the appropriate time, the needful will be brought out in the open and it will be done appropriately. Shall we proceed with the day's business?
Laying of paper, the Minister of Finance.
Ready?
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, with your leave, I beg to lay on the table of the Honorable House the following paper. Redenomination of the Leon Consequential Provisions, Regulation 2022, Bank of Sierra Leone Act, Act number 5 of 2019, Statutory Instrument number 7 of 2022.
That's it.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Speaker. Can I have your attention?
Yes, yes. Yes, you may.
Let's go. 25. Just to give you notice.
Yes.
That any food will be done towards this paper that has just been laid the minister. I want to give the notice to how we do process that is required of the ESO to
Bill, the National Electronic Communication Act 2021, Committee Stage and Third Reading, the Minister of Information and Communication.
The Minister may now take leave of us. The Minister of Deputy Minister of Finance. This position will no doubt be taken by the Minister of Information and Communication.
The House now resolves itself into the Committee of the Whole House. Resolve.
Where did we start last time?
Page 17, section 1.